Hey, you're listening to Wrestling Roundup, FreeFM 89.0. This is Grady Hooker, and live on Skype we got Josh.
Hey.
So Raw this week was snowed in, or snowed out, one or the other. So there was no actual wrestling content. We got a replay of a couple of matches and some sweet promos to fill in 3 hours. I didn't personally see it. I'm going to presume it wasn't the most exciting of shows.
It did what it had to do, considering the circumstances.
Fair enough.
And it was also probably a blessing in disguise as well, because it allowed fans to cool off after the Royal Rumble.
No pun intended. Yeah, I watched the Raw after, and the crowd definitely seemed to have died down. Gone back to their normal ways, should I say.
Well, what did they expect was going to happen? Philadelphia is a very smart town. Almost to steal a phrase from what was used on the podcast last night. It's a heel town.
Yep. Roman
was not going to get cheered no matter what happened.
Yeah.
But they didn't do him any favors with the booking in the match.
True. I don't have the exact quote, but to steal another quote from Austin from the podcast, everyone is smart now.
Yeah, he kind of buried the term smart.
It was a great podcast again. I don't know how spoilery we want to get with it. Nothing storyline-wise happened.
No, it was really just Triple H talking about basically what he does for a living now, and that's talent relations.
And you got a lot of the backstory and stuff. Like, he always wanted to do this sort of stuff when he was first coming in with Vince and had backstage meetings. I'm liking these podcasts. Like, I haven't listened to any Austin podcasts that weren't these two, the Vince and Triple H ones. I have a feeling I'm missing out. But have you listened to any of them?
I've listened to a few of them.
Are they
the Unleashed versions are the ones where he takes the limiter off and the profanity does come.
Okay. But are they in the same?
They're all right.
Same style.
Yeah, basically, it's him giving his opinion on things, and if he has a guest in an interview on them, and stuff like that.
Okay.
So it's made more legit from the standpoint that he's actually in the business and been in the business and all that.
And not afraid to talk about their business.
Yeah.
As you definitely
really
see.
Does bother him. The term sports entertainment really bothers him.
Yeah, I think we saw that one with the Vince one. He kept putting
we saw that last night.
Yeah. Air quotes, sports entertainment. Talking of Austin, I don't know how long it's been going for, but I only just noticed. I think it's just starting to air in New Zealand, maybe. His show, Broken Skull Ranch, or something along those lines?
Redneck Island.
Redneck.
I've never watched it.
He's got a reality show of some sort. So how long's that been going for? I think it's second season?
I think this season is the third.
Oh, God. Is it?
As I said, I don't really know because I've never watched it.
Yeah. From what I've seen, it's like a tough man type competition, but with both genders and stuff like that. But I guess it is quite different from Tough Enough, which I think has been announced now to return for another season.
Yeah, on USA.
And
I've heard rumors that it may have an American Idol type of judging thing.
So would that be
a voting system?
Would that be harkening back to NXT, the first few seasons?
No, I'm thinking more of American Idol, where you vote, where you vote who's being eliminated.
Oh, okay. I haven't paid attention to American Idol since the first few seasons.
I've never watched American Idol, so I don't. So honestly, I don't know what they do, but I do know that they call in the vote for elimination stuff. So.
With American Idol, all I ever do is watch the funny auditions, and then once it gets to actual competitions, like, they can all sing. It's not worth watching. It's not funny. With Tough Enough, do we think same? Probably not the same judges. In terms of, who was it last time? Austin, Trish, and Booker?
Trish, and Booker.
Yeah.
And Bill DeMott.
And Bill DeMott. I don't know. Because now that they've got NXT, and it's running, it's a fully fledged company and all of that, it seems weird to be having a Tough Enough, unless they're going to be taking a bunch of guys off the indies and bringing them in. I'm going to be really annoyed if they take NXT guys and put NXT guys in there. Just because I don't think that's the spirit of the show.
Yeah. I think I think it's more of bringing in people to give them an opportunity rather than guys they've already got under contract.
Yeah. We'll see how we'll see how it goes, because I don't know, has it got a date announced to it?
Not that I know of.
Okay. So it'll be like Legends House Season 2.
Could be. But I do know that it has been announced to be on USA Network.
Okay. Flying back to WWE, did you see the Super SmackDown that was after Raw?
Yeah, I did see the live SmackDown.
How do you cram so many hours of storyline into one little SmackDown?
Simple. You cut out a bunch of people, and you do just the basic what you need.
Was that SmackDown with its cut down version better than some recent Raws?
It was definitely a good SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
I love Triple H kicking off the show with his triple troll impression, where he's trolling not only the NFL but the people who canceled the so-called people who canceled the subscription after the Royal Rumble.
So I don't know if we talked about it, that trend and stuff, but then they get 1 million subscribers. So
I think it was more maybe like a few thousand people might have actually canceled their subscription, but then it was the rest of the people were just bandwagoning on it because they weren't happy about the Royal Rumble match.
Yeah,
but didn't actually cancel.
I think that's a lot of the stuff on the internet now, is that it's bandwagoning and word of mouth, and it's not actual action at all.
It's the old John Cena won the championship. I quit watching WWE. Next day on Raw, I'm watching WWE.
Yeah. I don't know anyone who's legitimately quit watching it because of something that happened. Okay, we'll jump into our classic entrance theme. It's a WCW theme, Harlem Heat. And you're back with Wrestling Roundup, FreeFM 89.0, Grady and Josh. So back on SmackDown, we ended with the main event of a casket match.
Yeah, it's a weird feeling when you are watching a match and you notice that there's a long time between the beginning of the match and the end of the show, and you're expecting something screwy to happen.
Yeah.
And nothing happens.
Sometimes the biggest swerve is not swerving.
Yeah. But I was scared of Daniel Bryan when he was standing on the casket to do the yes chant. Because it looked like it was about to collapse on Kane. And that could have potentially hurt both of them and screwed the WWE in a really bad way.
Yeah. I presume they've built those caskets well enough that they can take a good bump in terms of, like, back body drops onto the top of them. I presume they'd be built...
Shawn Michaels!
I presume they'd be built strong enough. So we don't want to get into spoiler territory, so we won't talk about Raw from this past week, but we will jump ships entirely for the first time in a long time You've been watching a lot of TNA lately.
I've been watching the reboot.
Is it rebooting in the right direction?
At first, it looked like it was. Now, I'm not too so sure.
It seems almost like they've gone back to Wrestling 101. They're booking these straight feuds. It's 1 versus 1, or group versus group, group versus 1. And they're just playing them out like they've been played out for years.
Yeah, the Beatdown Clan is just another version of the New World Order.
Which we've seen about 1,000 times.
Especially from TNA.
But, like, I, in full, only ever watched the first episode, then I started watching highlights and stuff. The first episode wasn't too bad. We got quite a few things. I thought they were setting up to reboot and to actually come out of this better. And it seems like they're just going downhill.
Yeah, I've enjoyed the story between Eric Young and Bobby Roode. But I don't see the reasoning behind them basically copying that story that they're doing with them and doing the same story almost with Magnus and Bram.
They're just booking the same thing.
Two best friends are now fighting each other over issues, whether it's because one guy didn't give the other a world title shot, and on the other side, it's because one guy stole a briefcase.
Yeah. I guess it's going to fall back into the territory when we can use the phrase, it's TNA.
Yeah.
And it's not a good territory for me.
I mentioned that the reboot was working. Because I was enjoying the show.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest shame.
It gets my nerves. Especially the stuff with the Beatdown Clan.
That dominant heel group.
And them trying to steal the championship every week. One week succeeded. The next week, they left the championship sitting outside in the middle of the streets. And it was picked up by not the champion, but the former champion. And this past week, they tried to steal it from the champion again after a fatal 4-way match. This time, the champion was able to hold on to the title.
Are they going to spray paint BDC onto it?
I hope not.
God.
Although I have heard of who wins the championship from the current champion.
Okay. But...
and it's very TNA of them.
It's TNA. Why'd they do it? It's TNA.
It's because of Destination America sees this guy as the face of the company.
Okay. AJ's back. AJ's back.
No, but Drew Galloway is in TNA now, formerly known as Drew McIntyre.
As is, I'm gonna forget her name. Taryn Terrell.
Oh, she's been there with the company for several years now.
Yeah, I know, but
You're thinking James.
No. Now they're in the same company. Again.
Yeah, Mickey James has returned to TNA. And Bella Sky got fired.
I saw that as well. Major shakeups.
And it's a legitimate firing. Because they couldn't come up with a agreement for a new deal.
Yeah, from what I've heard.
So it's just a possibility that if they sign Bully Ray to a full-time, WWE signs Bubba Ray Dudley to a full-time deal, they may also get his girlfriend, Velvet Sky.
Do they want her?
They're interested in her, but they don't like her age.
Okay.
She's 33.
Yeah, so, This is from Wikipedia, could be complete lies. In July 2009, Drew Galloway proposed to Taryn Terrell, and they married in Las Vegas in May 2010, and then in 2011, they announced they were getting divorced.
Yeah, it's Tiffany is is considered the reason why the push stopped on McIntyre.
And now they're back in the same company, which could be slightly awkward. But you know what it's not as awkward as? Robbie E. and Brooke breaking up in the middle of the Amazing Race.
But still having to deal with the race itself.
They made it so far as well. They made it to the final leg and got eliminated in the middle of it. I can't imagine anything. I guess they're technically actors, so I guess they would have been good at it, but that would have been so hard to fake. Like, I guess most couples, it's a test to go through the Amazing Race. It's a long thing. You get like 12-hour breaks. But to break up in the middle of it and then finish the race and then go back to a company where you're working together, it's a lot.
Where you know that story is going to be used.
And then it be put into a story where Robbie E's bragging that he dumped her in the middle of the race.
And then he used the girl that he's been with to keep his job.
Yeah. I don't know. It's TNA. And on that note, we'll play now our current entrance theme. I don't even know how current it is. Rockstar Spud. He's from TNA. And you're back with Wrestling Roundup, FreeFM 89.0, Grady and Josh. So we got to talk a little about WWE's future. But just before we get there, Fastlane, I think it was announced, John Cena versus Rusev. The match we thought we were getting at WrestleMania earlier than that.
Well, this is a free month for the network. If you're a new subscriber, this could be one of those bait and switch matches.
Yeah. The one thing, just before we talk about the match itself, is expletive word I can't say. Why do new subscribers get the month free, but people who have been paying for a year don't get the free month?
I don't know. I hope eventually they'll give those of us that have been there since day one some kind of reward.
What is this
malarkey? For our loyalty.
It makes no sense to me. Like, I understand you're trying to drive new subscribers in, but at least the guys who have been paying for ages, give them the month free as well. Or discounted, maybe half price, $4.99. Something for the people who have been there from the start. Rant over?
I am one of those subscribers who have been there since day one. And I didn't take the free week.
No.
I subscribed right from day one.
Yeah. It's business, I guess. It's what's best for business. So John Cena Rusev, it's not happening. Full stop. In my mind, at least. Dirty finish. Match not happening. No contest. Something. Rematch at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I see the same thing you're seeing. What I'm probably seeing is John Cena wins by countout.
Yeah.
I see Rusev walking out of the match.
I can see it. Something that forces them to have a bigger stipulation match at Mania, where Rusev might actually lose for once. Because we all know what happened when John Cena took on Bray Wyatt last year.
Yeah, especially considering that it's been announced, as we probably expected it anyway, that it's going to be the match at Fastlane is going to be for the title.
Now, see that if they do that again at WrestleMania, it'd be interesting to see whether they give Cena the US title.
Cena going for it can elevate the title status. After all, he is the face of the company.
True. So we'll switch down to the future. We got about 5 minutes left. NXT. We got, I don't know how many people follow NXT, but we got some new tag team champions, Buddy Murphy and Wesley Blake.
I think they're just going to be known as Blake and Murphy from now on.
Blake and Murphy.
I think they're losing their first names.
Hmm.
But yeah, we do have new champions.
Does this mean that Kalisto might be making his main roster debut soon?
Possibly. It's also possible that it just may be a bunch of ado about nothing.
True.
But I'm guessing what I'd have to guess though is I don't think we'll see an NXT call up until after WrestleMania.
Fair enough. Without saying spoilers, Sin Cara was in action on Raw as well. That's all I'll say. We've also got, if you haven't been watching NXT for a while, the independent guys are coming up. So we got Kevin Steen, I can't even remember, Kenta, and Prince Devitt under their new names. And we're actually getting Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. Which
should be a intense match.
Yeah, I haven't followed it personally on the independent scene, but from what I've heard, this was a big feud out there.
Yeah, they were. Some places they were tag team partners. Some places they were opponents. I know when Steen was the ROH World Champion, he had a lot of matches against El Generico, who is now Sami Zayn. So I know that there is a lot of backstory.
Yeah. But even for those fans who don't know or don't follow the independent scene, only watch NXT, it's getting enough hype through just NXT as well to have enough of a backstory. They've told you all of the best friends traveling together story over and over. And in another interesting step, they're doing at the moment, tournament to see who's the number one contender for the winner. Because there's another NXT takeover coming up I want to say in this free month. I'm not sure though.
The 11th, I think.
Okay. And that's going to culminate at that show with the finals. But you've got, I want to say the one that just happened was Dempsey Corbin? Or was that coming up next week?
Dempsey Corbin and Neville Kidd.
Yep.
Those two matches just happened on the most recent one. On the previous week's NXT, you had Itami beat
someone.
I don't remember who Tommy beat, but I do know that Breeze was it was Breeze. It was Tyler Breeze that he beat.
There we go.
And then Finn Balor won his match
against whoever he faced.
Yeah. Curtis Axel.
There we go.
And they're going to face each other all on this week's NXT. And Finn Balor wins that match.
That match, if you don't watch NXT, watch that match. I haven't.
And then
it's going to be good.
Neville beats Corbin for Corbin's first loss because of
Dempsey.
Bull Dempsey.
That Dempsey Corbin feud, we don't have long left.
I was
can
interested
be amazing.
in it until they started doing the matches for it.
Mm.
Before they were supposed to do the matches for it.
So you think the build was awesome, but the matches just aren't doing it?
No. I think they killed the build for it. Because I always thought the build should to the next takeover event. They
Mm.
shouldn't have a match for that, and the match at takeover should be some kind of stipulation.
Fair enough. Instead, we got multiple matches in between. I think we got them the week after.
You got 2 matches between each of them with the same outcome.
Okay, so that's all we got time for this week. It's been great talking to you.
Peace out.
So you can visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/Wrestling Roundup Radio, or our Twitter page, twitter.com/Wrestling Radio. I hope you enjoyed this quick and wing it format, just like Raw this week. I'll see you next week.